Business Brain, episode 513 for Casual Friday, January 5th, 2024. Greetings, folks, and Happy New Year. Welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take a topic or two, sometimes three, maybe even four. We crunch it, we dissect it, we analyze it, we discuss it so that all of us, me, him, all of you, each one of us gets to tune our business brains every single time we get together. Sponsors for this episode include gusto.com/businessbrain. That's where you're going to go to get 3 months of payroll, benefits, admin, and more, totally free. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm back in Lafayette after, excuse me, Dave, a great holiday New Year's up at Lake Tahoe, and I'm ready to start killing it for 2024.
Nice. That's great. Yeah.
I'm moving a little slow this week, trying to get back in the swing of things after being away, and I feel like I've been managing holiday stuff since like Thanksgiving, but it's crazy.
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about that today because I feel like you're probably right that for me as well, this has been going on since Thanksgiving, but certainly the last 3 weeks for me have felt like I haven't had a full week of doing things. And next week on Saturday, I'm flying to Las Vegas for CES, and I'm there until like Thursday or something. So I feel my life has felt like I've been living this just-in-time mania. You know, they've got just-in-time delivery and all those things, just-in-time manufacturing and sourcing. I've been living my life by just-in-time operation. I get things done right before they need to be done, and it's not because I'm procrastinating. Don't let me fool you. I am still a world-class procrastinator, and it's something I intend to work on at some point, but I'm procrastinating that too because I've got other things to do. But this hasn't been procrastination. This has just been, well, what do I have on deck today? What do I need to be ready for tomorrow? And let's go. Let's just run. And I haven't had a full Monday through Friday like I would normally have to sort of pace out my week, but all the same things, kind of all my weekly deliverables, like recording this show and recording my other shows, those have all needed to happen. And then this week, it's been a short week after a short week last week.
Yes.
And a short week the week before. Yeah. Right? But this is a short week while I'm preparing to be away.
Which another short week.
Yeah, which screws me up. We're recording multiple episodes of this show today. I've got to record, different things for my other shows. And so it's been nuts. I didn't think I would we record our Mac Geek Gab podcast on Friday mornings. Last week, I did not think that I would get it done in time. Like I thought I was going to have to pull a late night to do it, which is fine. I'm not against that, but it's just kind of like, well, that can happen. So great. And then today I thought the same thing. I was like, nope, actually it turns out I'm ready to go. So, okay, good. I get the night, quote unquote, off, which means I get to sit and watch the Bruins with my wife, which with my laptop in my hand, probably doing other things. But
because one screen rarely suffices anymore.
I'm trying to be better about that at times. Too, but, but you're right. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a challenge. I'm not happy
about it either, but we always talk about we don't have a lot of freedom, but because we're constantly working, but we have a ton of flexibility.
Yeah.
So that's part of it's a blessing and a curse in the sense that you're always dipping in and managing things on one screen or another. But
it's been a little stressful for me because I know things will pop into my head like, oh, I've got to coordinate. For example, I got to coordinate with my co-host of Mac Geek Gab who's going to CES with me. And it turns out we are on the same flight out. So it's like, oh, shoot, I got to coordinate with him. We should probably go to the airport together. But crap, if I get into a chat with him, that's going to derail me from doing these other things. So when am I going to squeeze that in? These kinds of things. They're so I've been stressed about that kind of stuff. The things that pop into my head, because I'm, I've never been diagnosed as ADHD or any of those things, but I resemble
Yes.
this remark,
Yes.
I recognize these habits. And so it's like, well, I know if I get distracted by that, a lot of times that's a good thing. Like you, I kind of let that fuel parts of my day.
Yep.
I have to be very careful these last 3 weeks about how far off course I let myself drift when I know I have certain deliverables that I've got to hit by certain times.
It is a challenge because that drifting you mentioned I think that's really important.
It's a superpower.
It is a superpower and being able to move. But if you can't look at your to-did list, and if you don't know what that is, go to businessbrain.show and look it up. If you look at your to-did list at the end of the day and you're like, wow, maybe I drifted a little too far.
Too much.
Too much. And
exactly.
I have that. And we're going to talk about this in a few minutes as we get into a discussion about imposter syndrome. But I'm kind of going through that too now because I'm shifting businesses away from quickly measurable success, how many items I'm shipping each day, to much longer results in a success cycle. And it's challenging.
I like that term, success cycle. Yes.
You can use it. That's okay.
Yeah, I will. I'll credit you the first few times and then it'll just become mine. It's totally fine. Yeah.
You got
All
it.
right. Yeah. So it's just been interesting and I've been productive, but it's been a learning experience because I've had to be more aware of how much freedom I'm giving myself to do those drifting versus like bringing myself back to, nope, I got to grind this out. So it's self-management. It is really, the term for lack of a better one, but it's been enlightening. It's been stressful, as I said, but it's also been, it has given me more confidence in my ability to get things in
That's awesome.
my belief in myself of getting things done, which I always find is true when my time is compressed or limited or, whatever term you want to use. So, when I have meetings at certain points in the day, I'm far more productive in between them because I have to be.
Because you're pushed. It's why everybody does. It's why when you're a kid, you don't do the report till the night before. It's the same concept.
Yeah, I have been living at the last minute for the last 3 weeks, but not because I've been like kicking the can down the road and like doing like fun things or whatever. Like everything I do is kind of fun in its own way, but it's different than my normal brand of procrastination. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
There you go. And you're going to Vegas. It'll be calm next week. It'll be good.
Oh, sure. And I'm sure I'll come back without any RSV or flu or whatever, I'm sure I'll come back super healthy. Yeah. Right. There is maybe I'll share that in another episode because it's a whole other thing, but remind me someday to share Dr. Flash Gordon's monkey poop mindset. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Because it's smart. What I want to do right now is talk about our sponsor. And instead of reading a script about our sponsor Gusto's payroll and benefits and all that, I want to tell you what other small business owners say. The people who use Gusto every day. So here's one from a Gusto customer who says, with Gusto, I think of payroll as a 30-second job. Boy, does that fit this episode, right? Their website is so friendly and a joy to use, right? Friendly payroll, 30-second job. We don't hear that every day when we're talking about payroll, right? Tom S. says, Gusto has allowed my small company to offer big-time benefits without an HR department. I like that. Like that I like. Laura L. says, with Gusto, even my employees are impressed with how easy their new hire paperwork is. Brian L. says, Gusto is super simple and easy to use. I've used multiple other payroll processes, and there's nothing like this out there, right? So the list goes on and on. Omneet says, whenever something comes up, I reach out and literally 24 hours later, Gusto's support team tells us what to do or assures us that they've already handled it for us, right? Friendly humans. It's amazing. You got to check this out. And right now, because you are a listener of Business Brain, you get 3 months free when you go to gusto.com/businessbrain. Yep. This is 3 months of payroll, benefits, admin, and more, totally free. And again, that's gusto.com/businessbrain. And our sincere thanks to Gusto for sponsoring this episode. So, Shannon,
Dave,
what's on your mind? I shared my mania.
Yeah.
What's your? Let's do a little business. We're already in business therapy. Clearly,
we are in business therapy. We could have called the show business therapy, but we didn't. So we talked about 4 months ago or so about some, imposter syndrome and some ways to get around it. But as I mentioned in the first half of the show, I'm in this transition of getting away. If I pull this off, which I think I can.
I know you can.
Yes, I know I can. Thank you. This will be the first time in almost 30 years that I have not owned a company that shipped products every single day.
Right.
Okay. And that's been a really important, rubric for me. I love that word. To measure, did I have a good day? Did we ship a lot? What was the numbers and all this kind of stuff? And I'm forcing.
So if you were to have 4 rubrics, though, would that be rubrics cubed?
Cube. That's why they did that, of course. And so,
sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. And
So my ADHD needs somewhere to go after I've kept it
squirrel.
at bay for a long time. Yeah.
And so trying to figure out to shift away from this system that has really served me well. I mean, it's been awesome. But I'm in a different time. I don't want to be geographically constrained, and I want to be able to operate from different locations, obviously.
Okay.
That's what that means. And so shifting in this and focusing on a whole nother, my business skills and getting it, I keep running, I even have a hard time talking about it, up against this imposter syndrome wall of, oh, wow, 1 minute, I'm like, okay, yeah, I got all this great stuff and I'm going to share this and it's going to work out great. I'm going to be able to help a lot of people. And the other part's like, well, I'm just not really, maybe I don't know this. And part of the problem I can tell you is being on social media platforms like on X, which I'm spend a lot of my time on now, growing, I'm trying to grow my fans, not necessarily followers. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're surrounded by people that appear to be just killing it. Right.
Oh yeah. Well, social media is the highlight reel.
Yeah.
So
highlight reel.
Yeah.
And so I'm constantly telling that. But when I mentioned that to you before we started recording, you said, "Oh, I've got a way that might help. Keep that in check." And I'd love to hear any feedback that you have on this imposter syndrome beast.
Well, so I suffer imposter syndrome. I feel like I suffer it more than anybody else, but that's because everybody else just shares their highlight reels. And I get that. Like I know that it's not just me, but it certainly feels that way. And when it feels that way, logic often doesn't help to dispel that myth, right? Like everybody at some level experiences imposter syndrome. It's how do you deal with it? And I will say that what I described in the first segment of this show has really helped me with my imposter syndrome because I haven't felt that way for about the last 3 weeks.
And is that because you have so much stuff packed in?
Correct. No time to stop and look at what everyone else is doing and feel like I'm missing out. The only person, like in terms of business, the only businesses I've been looking at are mine because I don't have time to just, I don't have time to scroll social media and be like, oh, look, that guy's killing it.
And that's not the main
It's not just social media.
No,
I don't have time to stop and second guess myself.
Second guess yourself. That's right. I think
that's really what and social media gives us not just the time and opportunity, but fuel with which to second guess ourselves. Yes. But it's not the only fuel. And I can stay away from social media and still second guess myself into a corner. I just have not had time with that. And I've caught myself in little moments. I did actually I did 2 theater shows last week. I did 7 performances in 7 days.
Nice.
Which was great, except, I had all this other stuff going on too. So it added fuel to this particular fire, but And the theater shows I did. One of them is this show called Hedwig and the Angry Inch, where the band's on stage and the band is actually playing the role of a band. And so we're singing harmonies with these people. I sing fine. I know that I sing fine, especially when I'm singing harmonies. I'm great at it. I have a lot of confidence with it, except for when I'm on stage with theater people who are like trained
Really good.
and really freaking good, right? Like, there's no world where I'm nearly as good of a singer as any of the other people on stage, right? And I remember a few moments, like driving home one night, I was like, oh man, I don't know I wonder what those people think, like having to sing with, Hack Dave, and then it's like, well, I know how they respond to me, and I've known these people for a while. They would tell me if there was a problem, and I would be able to intuit it from them. It's not them. It's me putting this in my head. But it lasted for all of about 12 minutes, during a ride home. And then it had to leave my head because I didn't have time for it anymore.
Yeah, I like that.
So don't give yourself the opportunity to second guess yourself.
I like that.
Too much.
And
some of it's good, I suppose.
And I'm also going to put some more effort into how to help people that have it. Because if I have it, after starting, 10 different companies and it's our 9th year of this podcast. And
crazy.
All this sponsor. I mean, if I have it, certainly many, many other people have it. And
yes.
So I'm going to
you're in terms of like people who are able to be successful entrepreneurs. And I don't necessarily mean you got to earn millions or billions of dollars, but you can support yourself and your family with a business that you birthed on your own.
Right.
And you've done it more than once.
Yes.
Like that puts you not just in the 1%, like that's 1/10 of 1% of the population.
Yeah.
And and I'm the same way, right? Like if we are feeling imposter syndrome ever, then we know that everybody else is too.
Yeah. And a big part of it, I think, is I've spent the last 25 years pumping up teams of people, talking up how great we are, talking up how great our services are, how great our product is, how good our customer service is. And now I'm having to shift to, talk about how good I am. And you're like, oh, that's different. That's kind of gets me kind of itchy, right?
You know what? I didn't even realize until this moment in the last week, I have recorded 3 episodes of Gig Gab, one of the other shows I do.
Yeah.
I talked about it here that my co-host was leaving as of the end of the year.
That's right.
I've done 3 episodes without him. The first of them was me solo. I've done a solo podcast and I loved it. I've done 2 other episodes, one of which is out at this moment in time. The other one will come out Monday with guests, and they went swimmingly. Up until right now, it didn't even dawn on me that I should feel like an imposter for doing this thing that I've literally never done before.
Don't feel that way. Yeah.
But I didn't feel that way because I haven't had a moment to breathe. Yeah, exactly.
I like it. So stacking up your, keeping yourself busy.
Yeah.
And also, like for me, I'm going to go write an article about this and come up with some systems that I can, share with others.
Yes.
That might be going through the same thing and post.
All right, well, share those tips here on the show too, man.
I'm going to because that helps me. And I know, like I said, I just know if I feel it, it's got to be out there everywhere.
Share with us. Feedback@businessbrain.show. Are you feeling imposter syndrome? Do you have tricks? What tricks work for you, either intentionally or unintentionally, to help avoid imposter syndrome or at least mitigate imposter syndrome? That's going to be a fun little word because we've got something else next week we're talking about. Mitigating.
Mitigation.
Yes, mitigate. I need to have a new mitigation system installed, Shannon.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks for listening to me. Remember, this is Business Brain. All of our business brains helping each other figure stuff out. That includes me and Dave as well.
Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. Check out gusto.com/businessbrain and have a great weekend. Keep on living that charmed life.